Welcome to Front Office Pros. I'm Steve, and this is Joe. And we just had some mind-blowing news. Quarterback Matt Ryan has been officially benched in favor of Sam Ehlinger, the former sixth-round pick from the year 2021. This is quite surprising, Joe. Was not expecting this.
Yeah, definitely not, Steve. I mean, just in a couple of redraft leagues just last week, I picked up Matt Ryan.
I know you did.
Thought he was going to be a smash play against the Titans, and wow, boy, was I wrong. I mean, I don't know how he was able to throw 2 picks, but besides that, I saw the shoulder injury news. Then next thing you know, you're texting me that Ellinger's the guy the rest of the way. I was completely taken back, and then I just read that regardless if Matt Ryan got hurt, move was going to Ellinger anyways, which
Yeah.
I don't like why have a veteran guy like Nick Foles behind Matt Ryan if you're going to give the young guy a shot? They're second in their division. Uh, I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting move.
Yeah, it's a very shocking move. And like many of you out there who may be watching this, you're probably asking yourself, what's going on? What does this mean for my fantasy football players that are on the Colts? What do I do with this information? So we're going to talk about it. Let's have a conversation, Joe. You started to talk about it some. Let's talk about the quarterback position at first. What does this mean for Matt Ryan? I mean, is his career over?
Yeah, it could mark the end. I mean, I don't know where else he goes. Honestly, I mean, the Colts kind of gave him a shot here. Got him away from Atlanta where he was looking to get away from. And there's just at this point kind of the QB needy teams. I mean, I highly doubt a team like the Panthers need somebody, but they really need to just draft somebody and build.
Yeah.
So I just there's not that many teams that are like a quarterback away. I feel like a lot of teams have solved that problem at quarterback. So this very could mark the end, or maybe he goes on and signs as a backup somewhere. But as far as like a Matt Ryan as the starter somewhere, I think this marks the end for that for sure.
Yeah, it's really tough. That quarterback carousel continues over in Indianapolis. And I mean, when it comes to Matt Ryan, like you said, I agree. I think his career, looks like to be over. And I don't think the Colts will cut him this year. Obviously, they're going to have to incur a ton of dead cap when they do probably next year. So right now, though, as far as his relevance this year and moving forward, it's pretty much down the tubes. So now, what does this mean for the new quarterback? We don't know much about him, Sam Ehlinger. He has never had a regular season start. This will be his first start against the Commanders. What should we expect from him?
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, it's going to be tough for him to do much worse than Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's turned the ball over a ton. I mean, I think 9 interceptions and several fumbles as well. So I mean, he's just been a turnover machine. So Fellinger can at least not turn the ball over and just make some simple plays. I mean, could be a benefit. I know kind of more of that dual threat scrambler. Maybe that's a better fit for the offense. We've seen the offensive line struggle. Maybe if he can kind of buy that time, maybe he can hit some throws. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, the fact that they must have saw something in practice or preseason that they liked, because they were planning on, if Matt Ryan didn't perform against the Titans here, they were planning on making the switch regardless of him getting injured. So,
Well, honestly, you mentioned it. I'm surprised. I mean, with Frank Reich and his history with Nick Foles, and they, brought him to Indianapolis, I would have thought that he could have possibly gotten that shot over Sam Ehlinger, but he didn't. So, it tells me that they must be, I don't know if, I mean, it'd be crazy for them to maybe say hit the rebuild button. I don't even know if Frank Reich or Chris Ballard could necessarily take that hit. I mean, they've missed so much as far as the quarterback, and who knows
yeah.
with Jim Irsay whether he'll be patient or not. But when it comes to Ehlinger, you're right. He's more of a mobile guy. So now he's not the most, from what I can tell, he may not be the most accurate guy deep down the field. He might not be able to fit the ball in tight windows, but he's a leader. He's got the intangibles that might be what they felt like they needed. They needed that guy to just, go for it and make some really tough plays, and that team just roots for him. They may want that. and that's what it seems like he could be bringing. I just don't even know. They say he's going to start for the rest of the season, but there's no guarantee of that.
Yeah, well, I mean, what do you mean no guarantee? I mean, they're saying he's starting for the season as long as he doesn't get injured.
But
I'd
if
believe
he
him.
bombs though, I mean they could eat. I mean they have Nick Foles on the roster. I'm not saying it's a full assurance that he's going to be like. I know that's what they say, but a lot of times NFL teams say it's not like they have to stick to exactly what they say based on what was said.
Yeah, I get that, but I think at this point, I think they'd like to see what they have in Sam Ehlinger, and maybe we'll give him the rest of the season. I mean, can probably if Foles was in there, probably could expect more of the same. But if guys in the locker room really weren't getting behind what Matt Ryan was saying and believing in, like you said, maybe the change up and you bring a little young blood, maybe Ehlinger creates the spark and Colts go on a little running. I mean, they're second in their division. Just seems hard to believe that, what you're saying. If he does bomb, it seems like it'd be hard to just accept and kind of accept a losing season from here on out too. Like, yeah, something's got to give there.
So let's talk about the running back group and probably the favorite for being the number one player that was drafted in your redraft leagues. How does this affect running back Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, I think it'll affect his receiving end a little bit. I don't Ellinger, being that he's a scrambling guy, dual threat guy, probably isn't going to dump the ball down like Matt Ryan would if he does get in trouble. But I still think Taylor will get enough carries to stay, still be a good option in fantasy. I know, you'll say that they'll stack the box against him and he's going to go from, possibly 8 guys in the box and just they're going to dare Ehlinger and the Colts to pass, but he's still going to get the workload and he's still able to break tackles. Just the volume in the receiving game definitely does hurt, especially for fantasy, but he'll still get enough workload for sure.
So you read my mind. That's exactly how I'm feeling. I mean, Jonathan Taylor was already not doing, he was not meeting expectations. He was
No.
not paying. When you drafted him in number one in redraft, or you thought you had this guy in dynasty that was going to be, a perennial, you know, top running back. I'm not saying that's not going to happen moving forward, but this season with him with Ehlinger at the quarterback, I think they'll sat the box. That offensive line has already not performed very well. He's dinged up as well. I just think sometimes you kind of just see the writing on the wall, and that's kind of how I'm feeling. I feel like the writing on the wall is on Jonathan Taylor, and I just don't think we can expect. He's definitely not going to be what he was last year. That's for certain. And I don't
Right.
know. We might only see glimpses of that Jonathan Taylor. So I'm concerned. I wonder if Nyhiem Hines, he's kind of more of the pass catching running back. I know you said that Taylor can get balls out of the backfield. I just wonder if he might be more involved.
Yeah, I don't think so because I mean, unless they design screens or something, I don't see Ellinger dumping the ball down. I mean, that was Matt Ryan game, Philip Rivers, because
Yeah.
they don't have any scrambling ability. The one thing I will say though, it's not like Matt Ryan was really beating anybody with the pass either.
No.
So, they still could be stacking. Jonathan Taylor's still the number one guy to look out for, no matter who was at quarterback for the offense. But maybe Ellinger can bring a little read option in the mix, and maybe that can kind of create space for Jonathan Taylor, hitting the edge a little more, and maybe helps the offensive line so that it's not just kind of run up the middle and get 2 to 3 yards and that's it. Maybe they can hit the edge with a couple of read option plays, and maybe that opens up the run game a little bit. Who knows?
Yeah, see, this might be a panic play, and I don't want to stay on this topic for too long. But if I was a Jonathan Taylor owner and I was in redraft, I would, and I don't even know if you could pull it off. But if you I'm not, you wouldn't do it necessarily straight up. But if you had a deal with Josh Jacobs involved, and there was a trade between you, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Taylor, and you're the Taylor owner, again, I don't even know if you could do it at this point. But to me, that name brings a certain value, but that value is starting to dissipate. So if you are thinking about possibly moving him, that window is closing where you're not going to get pennies on a dollar, and at that point you just have to roll with them.
Yeah. I mean, you make a good point. Boy, it sure would be interesting to see if Josh Jacobs owner would do that move for Jonathan Taylor. It's just crazy. If you would have said before
Oh,
during the draft, like, oh yeah, you could possibly trade a guy like Jonathan Taylor for Josh Jacobs, and the guy, somebody might not do it. That would be mind blowing. I mean, this
oh
guy is
yeah.
the number 1 or 2 pick in all the redraft leagues. Just absolutely mind blowing.
This is a completely different topic, but that's why vetoes I think are so dumb, because if somebody did offer that, somebody would have been like, "Are you out of your mind?" And like, this is like absolute collusion. But they would have the person receiving Jacobs would have been the beneficiary. So,
Yeah, that's
so
why sometimes you got to wait out those trades. Sometimes it looks bad at first, but you never know after the fact.
absolutely. So let's go to the wide receiver group. A few guys to consider. We got Michael Pittman, who's probably the top guy, who has been the top guy. You got Alex Pierce, the rookie, and Parris Campbell, who's had back to back really good weeks. What do any of those guys get a up in value with Ehlinger? Are they all kind of down? Well, what's our thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been I got Michael Pittman in a redraft league, and I've already been concerned with him. Yeah, I don't know what to expect from him. I mean, it's going to be hard for him to do much worse with Matt Ryan. Ehlinger, if he just stays within the offense, hits Pittman short, you know, said his deep ball accuracy might be in question.
Yeah.
Pittman's not their deep target guy, so maybe he'll be okay. Alec Pierce, on the other hand, was kind of their explosive guy for those deep balls, so it'll be interesting to see if Ehlinger can hit him. He also might have somewhat of a rapport because it's probably the one guy that he actually did have in the preseason, being that Alec Pierce was a rookie. So we'll see if they have a rapport. And then, Parris Campbell was interesting, kind of unfortunate. We were going to, talk about him as a potential
The
guy to look
buy.
forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's probably a top before this news, he was probably a top waiver wire consideration for redraft leagues as people were talking about him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, we were going to talk to him as a buy and by the lines of the last couple of weeks, but tough to say if that's something that the offense is dictating or if Matt Ryan just felt comfortable with him. So I guess, wait and see on Campbell. If it is something that the offense is designing and getting him open kind of out of that slot position, he still could be good.
Yeah, I think, honestly, in thinking about it, it's tough because you now are basically, even let's say Pittman did really well. Let's say hypothetically, and you wanted to capitalize on that and say, I don't want to be on this roller coaster ride. Let me try to just trade him, and try to get something for him. I think people will think, oh boy, you're getting a Sam Ehlinger as the quarterback. So they're going to be like, I can't trade for him. So I think that the value that you could get for him is just not going to be there, which is you have to ride with him at this point, I feel like.
Yeah.
But for me, when it comes to receivers, though, Pittman doesn't create a lot of separation. That's the thing that concerns me. Can, Ehlinger fit the ball into tight spaces and get Pittman the ball? I think, like you said, he's more of that short route guy. So he might target him a lot. He doesn't have as good deep ball accuracy from what we know. So I don't know about Pierce. I kind of like Campbell. I feel like he could be a check down guy. He does have, he's shifty. Obviously he's dealt with injuries a lot in his career. I kind of like the idea of Campbell. I still think he could be worth a pickup, or in dynasty leagues, he might have been an afterthought. Hopefully you were stashing him. He might even be available in your leagues. So I don't know. It's a wait and see approach, but I'm kind of concerned. It'll be curious to see which player emerges out of this group, if any.
Yeah, it will be interesting because I don't really know what to expect, but it is interesting you bring up Campbell. I mean, if he is available in dynasty leagues, I think he is worth a dart throw. I wouldn't put too much fab on him, but he's definitely worth a shot because any of these guys could really emerge to be the number one guy. We don't know. It's kind of a wait and see approach at this point.
All right, our last group is the tight end group. We've got a bevy of tight ends there. They've got the rookie, Jelani Woods. They got Alie-Cox. They got Granson. What do you make of that group, Joe? Any beneficiaries there?
Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be like a beneficiaries to say, but I will say, Jelani Woods has been on the rise for them. He's shown some flashes, made some big plays in the middle of the field. Being that he's another rookie, a lot of times, especially for young quarterbacks, the tight end position is a position they tend to lean on. Those seam routes seem to be open. in a big space in the middle of the field, and they tend to exploit it. So Jelani Woods has kind of been their guy. Wouldn't surprise me if, Mo Alie-Cox got more involved. Granson, I don't know. He's kind of been out there a little bit, but I wouldn't expect too much fantasy production from him.
No.
But yeah, I definitely will be keeping an eye on who he likes more between Jelani Woods and Mo Alie-Cox. Both of those guys could be involved.
See, from a dynasty perspective, I am super happy because I think Jelani Woods could get way more involved. He was already getting decently involved. I think the Ehlinger move makes me feel like they're evaluating what they have at the position, and they did draft Woods this year. He's a huge target. As you said, I think he could, if he's uncomfortable, tight ends can usually be that safe option that they can throw to. So for me, I think, and plus I don't know this for sure, but if you look at OTAs or training camp, obviously Ehlinger was not taking the first team reps, and Woods was probably taking second, third reps. So they may have a stronger rapport. It's going to be really interesting. We'll find out here as the weeks go on what chemistry he has with what players. But if you have a spot available in a redraft league, I may just take a fly just because how bananas the tight end group has been, and it hasn't been reliable. I don't know. I might just go out on a whim and see if I add him and just say, hey, if it doesn't look good, I can drop him in a week or two. But I'm going to anticipate it before everybody else and their brother is going after him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it might not be a bad idea at all. I mean, like you said, tight end's been an absolute dumpster fire this year. I mean, you got guys like Conklin, who's been fantasy relevant. I mean, even the guy there in Bengals, I mean, Hayden Hurst has even been pretty good.
Yeah.
No, nobody really saw that coming. So, yeah, especially, the Zach Ertz owners who have been kind of riding that wave without Hopkins. You already saw his kind of points go down as Hopkins already came back after 1 week. So he's definitely a speculative ad, and take the shot on him and wait and see. I mean, like you said, you can cut bait if it doesn't work out with Ehlinger. Cut bait with him, none lost, but he could pay off.
And David Njoku I think they just said that he has an ankle sprain. So that was another guy that was probably a reliable starter who's now out. So
yeah, 2 to 5 weeks.
Right. So throw a dart throw, and maybe I think Jelani Woods, Mo Alie-Cox could be it too. I just think that they're both big, big targets. I think that Jelani Woods might be the more apt to really, rise up and be that guy.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I would like Jelani Woods over Mo Alie-Cox at this point as well. He's already been the guy that's made those big splash plays already, where Cox he did early, but Woods is really starting to take over, I feel like.
So that does it for us. We went through each position group in the offense. Joe, we have no idea what's going to happen, but we said, let's have the conversation. I'm sure many of you are out there, scratching your head, thinking to yourself, why on earth do I do? We're going to be posting videos on a weekly basis. We're a relatively new channel, so really encourage you to like, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and thank you for watching, and until next time.